Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. There's always conversations about which fight was the best fight of a particular year. And as we approach the end of 2023, let me just say the year has flown by. Like, it's crazy how fast this year has gone by. But continuing on, when we start thinking about the best fight of 2023, I mean, we've had some outstanding matches. Now, when you look at Benavidez and Plant, that was a really good fight. But in my opinion, when I just read the name off, it doesn't make me jump and say, oh yeah, oh yeah, that's the best fight of 2023. When I think of Berta Biaviardi, good fight, doesn't really get my juices flowing. Davis and Garcia, that was a good fight. That was an exciting fight. I remember watching that fight and being on the edge of my seat. Then it was Haney and Lomachenko. That was another good fight. Watching that fight, kind of being on the edge of my seat. But I think Davis and Garcia was more exciting than Haney and Loma. Shakir against Yoshino. Good fight. You got to appreciate a style like Shakir, but doesn't really, again, it didn't really have me excited on the edge of my seat. I'm going to go ahead and skip over Taraj and Blasquaga. Didn't really do much for me. Taylor and Teal, that was a good fight too, but it doesn't really get my juices flowing. That Fulton and Inoue, that's when they had me on the edge of my seat, just watching and just being in amazement at how Inoue was performing and how Fulton was, even though he got hurt, he still wanted to continue fighting. That Spence and Crawford, out of all these fights I just named, that one I think had everybody on the edge of their seats. If you weren't on the edge of your seat, you're probably standing up, shouting at the TV. Spence and Crawford was an amazing, amazing fight. There's just so much that was going on inside that ring, things we were seeing, things we couldn't process. It was just an amazing experience. Zhang and Joyce, too, that was just a crazy fight, man. Just seeing how Zhang has put himself on the map in the heavyweight division by doing what he did to Zhang, basically twice. But Zhang has something special. The fight I really hope they make Zhang versus Deontay Wilder, because someone's going to die in that fight. Usyk and Dubois was a good fight. Didn't have me on the edge of my seat or nothing, but again, it was another good fight. The whole low blow thing, I still think Dubois deserved to get the nod, but it is what it is. Navarrete and Valdez, good fight. Nothing to have me on the edge of my seat, so it is what it is. Canelo and Charlo was very excited for this fight, but it turned out, in my opinion, to be a bit of a dud. It is what it is. Wood and Warrington, that was a very good fight where Warrington was winning and just happened to get caught with something. If you haven't seen that fight, y'all need to watch that fight. That was a very good fight. Zoo and Mendoza is coming up. We have to see how that goes. Haney and Prograde, that's an interesting fight. Have to see how that goes. Shakur Stevens and De Los Santos may be one of those fights where you're on the edge of your seat, just waiting to see. I compare that to Marcos Maidana versus Amir Khan. De Los Santos being the Maidana, Amir Khan, the boxer, being Shakur Stevenson. Then Catterall and Linares. I really don't have too much of an opinion on that fight that's supposed to be coming up. But what I'll tell you is, so far for 2023, and this is just my opinion, man, I gotta say, I honestly gotta say, what fight do I think was the best fight that really had me like on the edge of my seat? Man, I think it's probably between like that Davis Garcia, Spence and Crawford. Because Davis and Garcia was one of those fights you just knew somebody was going to get knocked out. And Spence and Crawford was another one of those fights where you just like, okay, what's going to happen? But Crawford kind of, after round two, Crawford just took off. But that Davis, I think it's between Davis Garcia and Spence and Crawford for me, just going off of this list we have in front of us. But we still have a couple good fights coming up. The year's not over. And we just have to see how things play out in the ring. But I think that Spence and Crawford, I think that takes the cake, in my opinion. It was just amazing to see what was taking place in the ring. Both of them trying to find a way to win, and neither of them wanting to quit. It was just a really, really impressive display of skill, of heart, and of two boxers trying to find a way to win. Anyway, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans on 7 continents. Yo, I'm in the breeze.